Osss. What's up, guys? So today we're going to do a lower body recovery workout. We're going to be working on hips, and more hips, basically. So I'm just going to kind of coach you through it so that this is the program that you want to do. I'm not that flexible. I don't know if anybody's been watching my social media. I did on my Instagram with one of the people I work with. She's very flexible. So some of the stuff that we did was high level flexibility stuff. But you can do the same regimen with someone that is not very flexible. So I decided to kind of go through it with you guys because I'm not that flexible. I'm kind of a big guy too, so I'm a little around 200 pounds. So this is just for overall hip health and guard retention. The better your hips move, the guard increases, your triangles increase, everything basically increases when you do that. So a couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a yoga mat. So I use a yoga booster, but you can use like a pillow or a blanket or whatever it may be. Now, because I'm not that flexible, I have a bunch of yoga blocks. The yoga blocks just they bring the ground closer to me, so that way I'm able to sit into each individual position comfortably or manageably. Remember, when we're doing the stretched position, you want to do it to where you're comfortably sitting for at least 2 minutes into the stretch. So it shouldn't be so intense that you need to get out of it. So you got to find that spot where you're able to sit into the stretch for at the minimum of 2 minutes. Okay, guys. So I have a total of 4 blocks. They're different widths, as you can see. One is just thicker, the other one is just narrower. But it's up to you. It depends on your level and how flexible you are. For me, I need them because I have no other choice. Okay, so we're going to start with the 90-90. So the 90-90 is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically everything at 90 degrees. So I'm actually going to start with my bad hip. So this hip, my left hip, there's some imbalance on my left hip. So this is very uncomfortable for me. So what we do is we put everything at 90-90. So ankle, knee, hip, and then the same on the front side. Get myself on position. So 90 here, 90 here. I get the yoga blocks to kind of help me up. What we want to do is you want to make it to where your tailbone is kind of sitting up, so that your hip girdle is like you're flexing or you're hip hinging on the front hip. Okay. So a couple things that you want to do is on the front knee, you need to push this down. Not with your hand, the external form, but like actual muscle effort by pressing the actual front knee down. From there, what you want to try to think of is that you're trying to externally rotate the hip or trying to lift this front heel up off the ground. So you're pushing down on this one, trying to pull this up. Whether you can or not is not the point. The point is the intention. So you're going to feel those set of muscles engage. Once you feel those muscles engage, those are those muscles that are going to pull you forward so that you hip hinge forward. Does that make sense? Okay, from here, I'm gonna set the timer. 2 minutes, and we'll just sit here. This is where breathing is important. As you can see, for me, I lean this way. So I set the 2 blocks on one side to basically help me support myself so that I'm sitting in the proper pelvic tilt. Be able to push this knee down and pull this foot up. And then you gotta find that end range of flexibility. Like where you can kind of sit into the stretch and still be able to maintain it. And then just periodically just re-gauge and make sure that everything's at 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. tailbone to the ceiling, chest up, melting towards your shin bone. Been 2 minutes. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do PAILs and RAILs on a trail leg. So what you're gonna do is, without actually lifting the knee up, same concept, pushing that tailbone to the ceiling, pulling that chest down towards your shin bone. What you're gonna start doing is you're gonna start revving up effort to push the heel, the back heel down into the ground. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold that, and then we're gonna reverse. We're going to do rails. So the first is PAILs, which is pushing down. Rails is lifting up. So here we go. You ready? 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're irradiating tension so that when you rail it up, your hip girdle doesn't move. That's about it for me. 1. And then you relax everything and try to get yourself deeper into the stretch forward. And then you repeat. 10%, 20%. This time we're going to do maximal effort, safest and greatest. 30%, 40%. You're going to start to feel yourself shake. That's normal. It's your nervous system requesting help. Then you're gonna hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Irradiate and regress. And 1. And then take a deep breath and pull yourself out of it. Oh, I don't know about you, but it's difficult. For me, that takes a lot out of me. Like I said, I'm not very flexible, so these kind of workouts is very intense for me neurologically, because my body is not comfortable in those type of stretch positions. So the next position you're gonna do is pigeon. Now what I do is I actually put the yoga booster underneath my butt. Depending if how tight I am that particular day, I might use a yoga booster and an actual yoga block. What you wanna do is try to get the booster like right on your front hip. So you're going across with the leg, you're kicking this opposite leg back, and you're trying to straighten it as much as possible. See, I'm not even able to kind of straighten this out. And we're gonna do the 2 minutes here. Same concept with the yoga blocks. Keep adjusting yourself. Keep trying to roll this right hip down, engage your glute, straighten your back leg. Now I feel ready to lean forward. Once I felt like that release, there's a certain point where you feel like the tension kind of let go. That's where you got to get the courage to kind of lean forward more. So here, pushing the chest forward, going forward, readjusting myself, trying to get that right hip down, engaging the right glute. Keep breathing. I just felt the release. Feels amazing. Okay, so now from here we're going to do those leg curls. So from what you're trying to do is now is to irradiate tension in the center. Basically, radiation is just tension here, tension in your hips, and what we're going to do is we're going to curl the foot. Now the natural tendency is to kind of lift the hip up. We want to try to avoid that. So just be self-aware. What I'm doing is I'm irradiating tension in my abdomen, in my hip, in my glute. From there, all I'm going to do is leg curl. Five is all you need to do. Believe me, it's going to be hard. Take a breath here. From here, we're going to do the PAILs and RAILs with the back leg. So what we're doing is we're tucking the toes and we're trying to push down as much as we possibly can into our leg. And we're going to rev up the tension. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then opposite direction, we're going to try to maximally curl it up towards our butt. 2 and 1. Take a second, sit more into the stretch. Catch a breath here. I'm already sweating. And then we're going to repeat 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Maximal effort now 60%. 70%, 80%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and curl, curl, 5, curl, 4, 3, 2, 1, oh. And unwind everything, slowly get out of it. Whew. Wow, that was hard. Whew. That wore me out. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to save the work. Basically, we made a whole bunch of space in our hip. And now we're going to teach the nervous system, your neurological system, to now be able to move in a new space that you just finished creating. So in order to do that, what we do is cars. In this particular one, I'm going to do like a higher level car, but you could use the wall, you can use anything. I'm going to use some some stability sticks. Here, shoulder width apart. We're going to do the trail leg, which is the right leg. We just finished working on the right leg, even though the left leg worked as well, but we're going to do this for the right leg because we did the PAILs and the RAILs for the right leg, okay? And the PAILs and the RAILs are the strength training portion of the recovery part. So from here, all you're going to do is you're going to come across the midline. You're going to adduct, I think that's how you say it. From there, you're going to try to think you're pulling your heel up. Coming to neutral. You're abducting. Okay, for most of us, we're going to have to dip the knee down just a little bit in order to create the space to internally rotate, to kick it back. And then reverse. Extend backwards and bring it around. Good. I'm going to do one to the side so you can see my leg as well. Okay? Again, it's the same radiation, so keeping that hip girdle, that abdomen and that hip tight in order for you to get rotation in the actual hip joint. Here you're going to cross again, come up, neutral, come out, dip just a little bit, internally rotate as you kick back, and then reverse. Extend back, externally rotate as you bring it up, and then coming back to center. Beautiful. Okay, same thing, you guessed it, just on the opposite side. So same 90-90. Let me turn around so I'm not like giving you my back. So same 90-90, 90 degree here, 90 degree here, 90 degree here. From here, rotate that hip. Now for me, there's something wrong in one of my hip external rotators because I feel like a little bit of a sharp pain here, which means that I don't want to lean into it. When you feel like that sharp pain or any type of pain like that, you don't want to lean into it. What you want to do is kind of kiss the discomfort. So come up to it, have a conversation with it, but don't lean into it. It's like arguing with someone that's toxic. You don't want to do that. A family member is the best example, I guess you need to say. They're still going to be there, but you gotta talk to them nicely. All right, so we're going to do the 2 minutes. Same thing with the yoga blocks. For me, this leg is a little bit easier. And go forward. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but this side is much better for me. I can sit in the position more. I don't need the block to post me up. I'm able to kind of lean forward in this position better. And that's the thing about your body, is that one side's always going to be different than the other. So you got to kind of do whatever space that your body's willing to give you. Just work with whatever it's willing to give you. If you're up here to begin with, fuck it, that's where you start. If not, you come down here. And that gives you the example with one of the girls I work with. She's like super hypermobile. She can be in this position and be completely flat. I can't do that, but you're just gonna go as far as you comfortably can. There's the 2 minutes. Now we're going to start doing the PAILs and the RAILs on the trail leg, which is going to be your left leg. We started with the right leg, now we're on the left leg. From here, the same thing. Hip bone, tailbone to the ceiling, chest moving towards your shin. From there, we're going to start revving up on the back leg downwards. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rail it up. And then lean forward more if you can, work that space out. And then we're gonna repeat 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, maximal effort. Safest and greatest, 80%. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Irradiate and come up. Very little movement on this side for internal rotation for me. Whew. That was exhausting. Well, I need a second to catch my breath there. That wore me out. Okay, now we go into the same pigeon pose. Start to 2 minutes. So you just gotta, this is where you gotta kind of like explore your body, find the little nooks and crannies of where you feel the discomfort, if you feel any type of discomfort, or if you feel any type of tension. This is the benefit of doing like these little 2-minute like stretches, is that you sit in it long enough to where your body's, you learn to communicate with your body starts telling you where there's something wrong, if there's something wrong, if you're able to find the space, how to relax if necessary. Every position that you sit in for a long stretch of time is basically a longer conversation that you're having with your body. So the more conversations you have, the better it is. Beautiful. From here, we're going to do the leg curls. Now we're going to do the PAILs and the RAILs for the back leg, where we're straightening. We're trying to curl the toes under and push down. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, all different. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And curl. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit into the stretch more. And again, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, hold there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and curl. Get out of the stretch. Holy shit, that fucking hurt. Woo. Okay, give me a second to recover from that. And we're gonna do cars on the opposite side now again. So now we're doing it for the left leg. So same thing, you radiate, come across the midline, come up. This side is much harder for me to communicate. Oof. Whoa. Whew. Okay, the next part is what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit comfortably in the yoga squat. 2 minutes. Now, for us jiu-jitsu people, the reason why this is important is because this right here is guard retention. The more comfortable your body is it having its whole leg like adjacent to your chest or your body, the easier it is to retain guard. So in other words, it's got to have not only the flexibility, but the strength to be able to get into this position. So what this is working is just right now, we're just working on flexibility. Basically getting to the point where the body supports itself in this position. So your butt needs to be like sitting on your calf. You have to have enough dorsiflexion in your foot to be able to do this. You got to be able to push or pull or whatever it may be in order for you to do this. Circles, the strength and dexterity in your hips, your feet, just basically everything from the waist down in order for you to sit in this position. Still got 30 seconds, give or take. Perfect. Very last thing we're gonna do is gonna be just overhead squat with a stability stick, basically to save the information. So we're sitting in the squat, but it's great that we can sit in the squat, but we have to get there. We have to comfortably get here. So one of the things that I see a lot of the jiu-jitsu players have is that, even myself, is that they'll be able to strangle you, but they can't get up off the mat. And the reason being is they don't have the strength in the muscles around their knee in order for them to actually cause them to actually come up. So by sitting in that squat, causing flexibility, doing the overhead squat, we're actually then creating the mobility, the strength. So shoulder width apart, whatever feels comfortable for you. All we're trying to do is go nice and slow and bring our ass to our calves. And then up. Nice and slow. And then up. And 10. Just one set of 10 is enough. Oosh, guys, I hope this helps. I would recommend doing this at least once a week. Yeah, it's gonna help your guard. It's gonna help alleviate all the tension that you feel. If you have back pain, could be your hip. This could be it. This could help alleviate that type of pain that you're feeling. So don't be afraid to try this on a weekly basis. I also have another video somewhere. I'm gonna put the link down below. That's upper body. So that way you can watch that as well. Okay? Who's guys? Thanks.